There we go. Looks like we're live. Let me make sure that I've got audio and everything like that, because last couple times I've been coming on here, I haven't been able to do a good job of making sure that I do have feed going. So today is what, March 28th, 2024. I haven't been on in a while. I haven't done videos in a while. We took a break for spring break, and yeah, so gotta take a break every now and then. Maybe. Actually, I had my computer running while I was on vacation, and I was allowed to record everything that was going on over the last couple of days so that I can come back and review what happened. So that's pretty much what I'm just going to look at today. We're going to pull back up the data, see what happened, and then I'll just probably code around, put something else together. I don't know. Yeah, so you guys will just kind of follow me along as I do what I do, and it's not necessarily going to be productive in a fashion which you might call being productive. But if you're on and you're watching, you have any questions, concerns, be sure to bring them up, put them in the chat. And if not, and you're just kind of watching this replay, then you might fast forward, skip around, and look for different parts of the stream, whether I'm coding or whether I'm looking at a strategy performance report or something like that. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, let's see. So I do have another screen open, which is this screen. So what I've been doing here recently is I can look at. So this is the 1 minute chart. You see that there? We move this 15-second time frame, which is here. And we go back and pull this up. You see, as I go over to a specific area or a specific time point, say this is 12:17 in the afternoon, 12. This is around 1:36. So 1:36. I'm curious of what happened here on the 15-second time frame. Now I do have a 15-second time frame also on this workspace. However, I can't see both 15-second time frame and the 1 minute time frame at one time. With this specific data that I'm looking at here, the spread, the bid and ask size, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I have this extra desktop set up here so that I can move this to my second desktop over here. But then simultaneously, I can click on here, this number, so I can see what's happening at specific on two time frames, right? So I can, while I'm curious about what happened on the I can see what's happening on the 1 minute time frame here, all right, and then superimpose or also see what's happening on the 15-second time frame up above. Okay, so to look kind of like this. All right, you see that significant dip there. Well, what's happening is that dip on the 15-second time frame. Again, I'm just dragging this over to my second desktop so I can see them both at the same time. So I would encourage folks who are really trying to study the market and that kind of thing to have multiple desktops, to have multiple monitors. It just makes life a lot easier, right? So I can do the same thing here. I can put this here and I can move it around, and you see if I move this, this moves, and this moves. If I move it to here, they all move, except I can barely make out what's happening right here because it's so small. Now this is a decent sized monitor. This is a 30-inch monitor or something like that. The other monitor I have over here is a 32. I think the other one is a 24 or something like that. But even with the 30-inch monitor with this many charts open at one time, you can barely make out what's going on. Okay, so TradeStation, you can right click, double click, right double click twice, double click, and it'll open it up to a maximum screen. So I'm just kind of pulling over and see what's happening. Now, you might notice that you don't see very much when you scroll back here. That's because I have yet to pull the data like I said, I ran this. I've been recording while I've been gone for the weekend. But here is the data. Let's see, I need to open up that and that. So this is what has been stream recording to my computer. So I'll just Control A, copy that. When I do this shortcut, I always lose you guys on the feed. So I got to change the shortcut keys for that. All right, and then I come over here and then I do Control A, lost it again, and then Control V for paste. All right, and then Control S, save. All right, lost you with that too. All right, what do we got here? Oh man, that's loud. Okay, all right, so now I've got that copied and pasted. I've got to do the same thing for the 1 minute time frame, so I'll do that here in just a second instead of going back and forth and showing you kind of what I'm doing there. Once I get done, then I will just come back to the screen. So I got to open up the token file and then the regular file, and then this is the. Let's see if I can just right click, select all, copy. That way I won't lose you. Paste. And then file, save. All right. Now get these out of here. Okay, so now when I refresh this, it should pull up all my data. And we'll just kind of go real quick through one of the maybe like how I used to make my algorithms, how I used to make my scripts, how I used to look to make to find entries on 5 minute or 1 minute time frame, something like that. I do it a lot differently now. Plus, I'm really looking for bid ask spread, when buyers are coming in, when sellers are moving out, when the ask is being hit, or when the bid. When you're raising the ask, or when you're hitting the bid. Lifting the ask, raise ask. All right. It's being slow about refreshing here. But yeah, because I don't make my strategies the same way that I did in the past, it won't look as fun. It won't look as it won't be as like concrete, written in stone. But I still am seeing some trends with potential entries. So I'm just gonna, once this finally loads up, I'm just gonna allow you guys to see what I see, and then I'll let you make the determination of what you see. I won't tell you what I see. Maybe I will. I'll tell you a little bit about what I see, but I'll let you make the determination of what you see. Infinite loop detected in the study. Why? What is this? 15-second time frame. 15-second time frame. Bid ask stream. Interbar. Oh boy. Now, I haven't been having any issues with anything. But like I said, since recently I opened up a new desktop, I've been seeing some little issues come up. So I wonder if that's part of it. See, the 15-second time frame, the bid ask interbar bid ask stream. So it should be on this one, interbar bid ask stream. You see it shut it off because it was detected in the infinite loop. So we're going to edit the easy language. Let me see if I can figure out where there might be a potential infinite loop. All right, so this is a loop right here, right? But you're only doing this once. Wait a minute. I don't think that should be once. If we have a historical bar, right? So it's not a live bar, it's a historical bar. So real-time calc equals 0. If we have a historical bar, then we're doing all these things one time. We just want to start the stream reader one time. We want to start the token list one time. But as far as the once while not in the stream. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Because what it's doing is it's running all of this one time. Once. It's running all this one time. It kind of makes it look like it's just going to run it once. Ask if it's not the end of the stream and run that once. But it is asking if it's while it's not the end of the stream. It's running this while statement. It's running this while program. Okay. This doesn't need to be greater than 10, but it's fine. It's just saying that the token list has 10 arguments, which just means that it has all these arguments, which we have way more arguments than this now. We have up to like 14 arguments in our being created by our token stream writer. So everything will have at least 10, and that's fine. So if we're reading the line, clearing the list, adding the T line to the list, and T line is going to be equal what we read on the line from the stream reader. Got count greater than T list of 1 equals get symbol name, and we're naming the T list of 1 get symbol name because in the 0 index we have the date time, which is the key, and then in the first, the second element, or the first index, number 1 index, we have the symbol. So the symbol, if the symbol is the same as the current symbol of the future or the instrument that we're looking at, then that'll be true, and then we'll keep moving forward. So 0 again is going to be that key, and then we're going to also take. So we're adding to the dictionary DT list. We're adding to that dictionary the key plus what's in the 4th index, and then what's in the 5th index. So the 4th index is the tick, and the 5th index is the bid high. What is... I know it changed some things along the way, so let's go look at the token list and kind of help qualify why it looks like we're pulling the tick and the bid high, which we're not. So let's do this. We'll open the master token. should put my glasses on, but I'm not. All right, so so this is what we are. This is what we're recording with essentially every tick. We're recording all of this. So the date, symbol. All right, so number 2, in the second position, we're getting both the interval and the bar type. So in the third position, we're getting the tick. So the fourth and the fifth, which we go back to the other screen, the fourth and the fifth, we're getting both the bid, the highest bid and the highest ask. Now, something that I looked at earlier today that I do want to capture is I want to capture, let's see if I can pull up here. If you look here, you see these are coming in at ask, at bid, at ask, at bid, at bid, at ask, boom, above ask, right? So, and here you get 100 contracts at ask, which 100 contracts is significant, right? But above ask is significant too, because that means that somebody said, screw the market, screw the spread, I'm willing to buy way above the current ask. So I think that's significant too. And like, you can change the settings of your you can change the settings of your columns. It's over here somewhere. Data settings. So you can change it to make it look the way that you want it to look. I have mine set up so like the above ask is highlighted in red. The below bid is highlighted in dark red. So it's not just a regular color, it's highlighted. All right, so folks who will do like tape reading and that kind of thing, they're looking at that tape. They're looking at the orders come through. But how much data can you really take in at one time? Okay, so that's why I'm making these indicators to help me visualize. But at the same time, as it's just rolling through, all these numbers are just rolling through. If that pops up, that highlights, if that pops up real quick, I know we have some folks taking some positions above or outside of the market, which is, I don't want to say it's crazy, but I mean, if you're really trying to get in or if you're really trying to push the market, I mean, then you do that, right? Yeah. All right, so we have another one there. Scrolling down, this is back to 4 o'clock. We had another one there. And so I don't know what's as significant. Look right there at, right here, 4 o'clock, 4:01, you had several below the bids. And I think at 4 o'clock it flushed, didn't it? What did it do at 4 o'clock? Okay, yeah, at 4 o'clock it was flushing toward 4 o'clock, is that right? Yeah. Or did it flush at 4 o'clock? All right, so this is 4 o'clock. So at 4 o'clock, yeah, at 4 o'clock, it was flushing toward 4 o'clock, right? So from 3:30 on, something like that. No, at 2:30 on, from 3 o'clock. Yeah, no. It looks like it was going down a good part of the day, really. Unless I'm on the wrong friggin' day. That's what I'm on. That's what I'm doing. I thought that looked wrong. Okay. All right, so at 4 o'clock, yes. There we go. 4 o'clock, it flushed, but it was started flushing at 3:30. So from 3:30 down to 4 o'clock, flush. Even looked like around 4 o'clock, you found a bottom there, but right at 4 o'clock here, you see that we got some below bids. So again, you got to have the information to be able to interpret the information. And so much information comes at one time. It's hard to to manage it, to organize it. So these are just ways to organize it. So I say all that to say, so there's some above ask. I say all that to say, yeah, I mean, right. So it's just curious, right? It's very curious that right here at 4 o'clock, even though it was flushing from, that's as far back as it's going. It won't go back any further than that. But even from, what do we say, from 3:30 on, it started flushing. But right here around 4 o'clock, we started getting a bunch of above ask. We're getting way more above ask, 59, 16, 10, 10, 17, 31, 10. We're getting way more above ask than we're getting below bids, right? So even though the market flushed down, we're getting more aggression, more panic to the top side than we're getting to the bottom side. So when you get to the bottom of that flush at 4 o'clock, when you get to the bottom of that flush, you have all these above ask come in, and you're not really seeing any below bids. You got a couple below bids there. You got a couple there. But that's at 403. So let's see, I can't double click there. Yeah, so again, just still trying to make heads and tails of it. But one of the things I saw is that you can't use those things in isolation. Our data finally loaded up here. You can't use those things in isolation. You have to actually, it's just looking like you can look at those things, but then they also have to be confirmed by or the confirmation from other data. So let's look here. All right, we'll go back to that 15-second time frame in a minute. I diverge. I do that a lot. But I was trying to see if we could determine why it's saying that we reached an infinite loop. We've got a historical bar, and it's the end of the bar. And we do have a dictionary, and the dictionary list contains a key that holds some element. Then we're going to clear the token list. And then to the token list, we're going to add the what's in the dictionary with that key. And if the t-list.count is greater than 1, then we're going to plot string to number 0. Okay, largest blue. Yep. All right, all that's fine. Okay, so here we have another loop, which says now we're in real-time data. Now we're in real-time data. I'm just trying to think because I know we're in real-time data right now, but I believe that the market is shut down. You know what? Is the market going to run tomorrow? I think the market is not running tomorrow, but is it running right now? Is it running up to tomorrow? 8 o'clock, 1600? No, it looks like it shut down. Okay. So it's probably down until Monday, I presume. Okay, so stream read is true. Then we're going to close the stream reader. If bar status is greater than 0, so as long as it's an active bar, then count is going to be plus equal to 1. So we're going to keep adding 1 to it. we're ending that. So this technically should be here. All right. And then bar status is 2. So if it's the final tick of the bar, then we're going to take count A. So count A is going to be equal to 0. And then we're going to add 1 to count A. Count A is greater than 1, greater than or equal to 1, and count A is less than or equal to count. So this is counting how many ticks are in the bar. And then when we get to the end of the bar, we're resetting the count. You see, count equals 0. So if count A equals, so when we get to the end of the bar, we have the number of ticks in the bar. And we're going to repeat a loop starting with count A equaling 1. Count A is greater than or equal to 1, which it should be because it would be 1. And count A is less than or equal to count. Then begin. We're going to do this. And then we're going to end. We're going to repeat that until count A equals count. I think this probably needs to say greater than or equal to count. Because if for some reason in a bar, it's a bar that has like no liquidity, and it's the final tick of the bar, then that tick would have to at least be 1. So the count would at least be equal to 1, and count A comes in here as being 1. And so if count A is greater than or equal to 1, which it is, and count A is less than or equal to 1, which it is, then it's going to execute this until count A of 1 equals count, which is 1. So it should stop there. So that should be fine. And I can't see any point in time when count A would be, because it has to at least be 1. I can't see that any point in time when, because what happens like in an infinite loop is you're going to repeat this. You send to repeat this. You're going to repeat all this until you get to this. Now, if this equation never happens, then it's going to say it's an infinite loop. So for some reason, some of the time something can happen like mysteriously where count A will be 2, but count is 1. And so now count never equals count A. And then it keeps adding to the top of it. Count A keeps adding to the top because you're repeating every, with every iteration, you're continuing to repeat. So I think typically you would go count until count A is greater than or equal to 1. Count A is greater than or equal to count. and it would solve that problem. It would kick out this infinite loop before it gets crazy. However, I still can't see, and maybe I'm overlooking it, but I still can't see why it would possibly do that. So we're just going to verify that, and there's nothing wrong with that part of the script. Now we're going to come back over and go back here, and it was off. We're going to turn it back on and see, does it like that? And it might not. That might have not been the issue. So we'll let it run for a second. If it liked it, then it'll be fine. But if it didn't like it, then we're going to get another error right here. So again, I mean, like I said, this is kind of what I do, right? So yeah, so we did get an infinite loop detecting and study. So this is kind of what I do. I come through, I make strategies, I make indicators, I make studies, show me's, all that kind of stuff, and then if I have an issue, if I have an error, I have to go back and I have to debug it. I have to figure out the logic as the reason why it's not working right. And so this is just a part of my daily routine. So, all right. So that wasn't the. Now there's a couple things I can do here also. One of the things that I can do is I can just comment all this out. Right? I just comment all this out. And this is what I call the process of elimination. Right? So now we're going to turn that back on and see if it liked that. So this would be that study. It's taking it a while, so it might not like that either. Okay. But if it doesn't like that, then we know that the infinite loop is not a part of this. The infinite loop, yeah, so it didn't like that. So the infinite loop is not in that lower portion. The infinite loop is in this first portion. It's in somewhere in here. So while not end of stream, now this is not a loop here. This is not a loop. So there should be no issues with this. This is not a loop. Your loops are your while statements, repeat statements, or for statements. So your loop would have to be in here. So for some reason, while not end of stream, it's continuing to go on and on. Because end of stream on the stream reader data, stream reader right here, stream reader, if it becomes end of stream, then all this will shut down. And so that while loop gets severed. So for some reason, it seems like it's not determining that you've reached the end of the stream, which is weird. We're on the 15-second time frame. What we're going to do, a 15-second time frame, it would open up this static data, which is this file here. and looks to me like there is an end to the stream. So it should determine an end to the stream. Yeah. I'm just trying to think, unless something is writing to that stream and it's keeping it open and is constantly adding to it. But I don't have anything adding to that file. Nothing is writing to that file. I'm writing to that file. I'm writing to that file. So let me open it back up. Okay, I'm just going to close both those out. Verify this. Come back over here. And I might have learned something new today. Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to turn it back on. It should have came up by now. I don't think that's it. But I tell you what. This is something I'm going to have to figure out, because I can see what's going on here. Check this out. I told you that I was having some issues. Everything was going pretty well, but I was having some issues since making the second desktop. Look at this. This is my second desktop. This is the second desktop. My main desktop is supposed to have all the main stuff, but this is my second desktop. Tick, tick, spread, spread. BAS, bid ask study, intrabar max, bid and ask stream true. This right here is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. And it's working and active on this chart, right? So let's do this. I'm going to turn it off here. We're going to come back here. And then we're going to turn it on here. Could that be the issue? It's still on here. Wait a minute. Bid and ask. Stream. Status off. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we're going to come back here and turn it on. Bid and ask. Bar max bid and ask stream. Turn it on. Okay, close. Well, it was on the other one, and it seemed to be okay. Let's see. I still don't think it likes it over here. And that's crazy, because it was working on this second data stream, on the second desktop. I'm going to turn it back on the second desktop and see. Okay, so now on the second desktop, it's acting funky. It's acting like it's not going to pull it up again. Which, to me, that makes more sense. However, it should have kicked it out the first time as well. No. See, it came up. On this second desktop, it's coming up. This is one of those anomalies. Okay. It should be reading Where is the daggone thing at? All right, there we go. All right, yeah. So it should be reading the information from the file. All right, so this is the file here. So for the 15-second time frame, the bar interval is 15 seconds. The bar type 14 designates that it's a second. 1 would designate that it's a minute, but 14 designates that it's a second. So 15-second time frame will read from static data.txt, and that's the same on both charts. But for some reason, on this one, it works, and then on this one doesn't work. Status has been turned. It turns it off. And again, they're only reading from the data stream. They're not writing to it, so it doesn't need to be open or anything like that. I'm gonna try to turn it on one more time, and then when it gets done reading from it, that it does close it. I think that's the issue. That's the issue. I was talking about this earlier, and I'm gonna show you something, and I bet it'll work. Right. So let's wait for this error to come up real quick. You get the error for the infinite loop. Yeah, and I don't know why we'll call it infinite loop. Typically, like on some of the other streams, some of the other studies, I get something to say something like invalid syntax or invalid path name, something like that. But I bet what it's doing is because this is why I spent a little bit of time earlier talking about whether or not we were in live bars or not, or whether or not we were in live bars, right? So right now we're not in live bars. So this is at 5 o'clock. We got our last bar of the evening, and we probably won't get any more bars until Monday or so throughout the weekend. Won't be open Good Friday. Markets won't be open Good Friday, that kind of thing. So, or I guess maybe Sunday the markets open back up for futures. But so currently there are no live bars, right? So what we told it, we said that we want to close. So up here we want to read from the data. All right, we said we want to read from the data. And then we said, but now when you're reading from the data, when you're opening the reader data stream, you want, you know what, maybe I will take it. All right, hang tight. Oh, already gone. All right. So some of you guys may know that I have rental properties as well. So, still, I've got a vacancy, and just navigating what I'm going to do as far as getting that. So anyway, when you open this stream reader, when you open that file, you need to close the file so that you can continue doing anything else with it, writing something else to it or something like that. But in order to close the file, you need to tell it to close. I'm telling it to close here, but unfortunately, I'm telling it to close if we have a real-time bar, which is fine. 24 hours of the day is fine until you get on the weekend when the futures market closes, and then you have no real-time bar. So now you're never getting down in here and closing the chart. Actually, I think that I'd have issues with my other scripts as well, because I think I put them all in a similar situation. But I think what I can do is instead of it saying if it's a live bar, I can just say, I can say if it's the last bar on the chart, then we'll do it once. Right, so let's say if last bar on chart, then once. If last bar on chart, then once. If stream read equals true, then srd.close. I should be able to do that. All right, we're just going to comment this out, verify it. Now we'll come back here, and we'll go to edit studies, stream status on, close. I went through all that explanation. It would be tough. It didn't work. It's looking like that's a possibility. Nope, it worked. All right. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, like I said, debugging, just kind of figuring out what's going on with our. All right, so good, it worked. All right, unfortunately, if you see here, our bid as study stream. There we go. There we go. All right. All right, so we're good to go now. You know what? After all that, I really don't feel like doing anything else. I'm getting lazy, man. I'm getting lazy. I am. Okay, but at least now we have it open on both charts where we have the bid and ask. Okay, so good. So we solved one problem. Now on to the next. What was I doing from here? So I was talking about the just solving that infinite loop. We got that taken care of. I wanted to show you real quick some of the things that I see. Look at this. Look at it. Look at it. Look at this. And this is why I love what I was able to come up with. Right? I love the fact that I was able to make this program that will save and record this data. Because some of the times, like what I would do in the past is I would just let all this run and I didn't know how to record the data to the computer or anything like that. So I let all this data run. And then what I do is I just take a screenshot of it. And then I go back and I look at it at the end of the day or something like that. What I'm able to do now though, well, also what would happen is you see this right here? You see this right here? You see that missing data right there? This is saying that, and I noticed it too on my charts because I came back to sit at the charts and I saw the data from this time point from 4 o'clock, 4:02 on, which sometimes TradeStation has a mind of its own, right? So it'll actually reset. It will reset the. About to do something now, back up. No, we're not going to do that right now, but it will it might lose connection or for some reason it just kind of resets the data. So when it resets the data, you'll lose everything that happened before that. So I might have been recording everything that happened in a day and I was ready to take a screenshot. I'll come back to it when the market closes. Now the market closes, it does some reset or we lose a connection. And now I lost all the data from the day. So now I only lost as much data as it took for the data to reload. It was, 2 minutes or so. It took 2 minutes for the data to reload and then it just started recording again. So this is awesome. Like I said, this is going to change my ability to analyze. And, so let's look at what happened in the past. What is this? Back 325? I should have had data from 320. Well, this is So there's some data. 25. 25. Oh yeah. Well, I think 325 was. Oh, that was one of the days that I missed getting data. So, 327. 327 was yesterday. I missed data yesterday. Oh, okay, that was mid. Let's do this. Let's go to sessions, day futures. I think for day futures, I put it so the time is from like regular institutional trading hours kind of a thing. But you got to set it up separate. It's a little slow. It's a little slow. But like I said, I'm demanding a lot of it these days. While that's going. Okay, so if you've been following some of what I've been doing, you notice that like what I look for as far as bid and ask spread, that kind of thing. I've done a lot with the 15-second time frame. I don't think that I've come back and done any videos or anything since I moved to the 1 minute time frame. So now I'm doing the 1 minute time frame as well. I think I updated for the 1 minute time frame, so the data should be in there. I just need to refresh that. So let's. Okay, so we got another infinite loop detected in the study. What is this for? Is it for the same one? We should not have the same issue. What are we doing? Inch bar. Because we just solved that. Bid and ask stream. Oh, wait a minute. Is that on the 1 minute? No, that's still the 15-second time frame. So back here, we lost the 15. We lost the bid again, the bid ask spread. If last bar on chart. Yeah. Then once, stream read. Once, if stream read equals true. I don't see what's wrong with that logic. All right. Man, what is this? What is this? Okay, you see, no issues that time. That time it liked it. So I don't really know what's going on, why you have to call it a second time to the chart after you refresh the data. But anyway, you see all these values are like low. Okay, well maybe just because it's we're getting to the very end of the trading week, right? because here we have some higher numbers here. So on this subgraph here, we're looking at the TASP. So that's a time and sales provider. So this is actually actual orders that happen. So what I'm looking for here is the largest bid or ask, and I think I'm only looking for one. Was it the bid that was the largest, or was it the ask that was the largest? And what size was that contract? Now here, cum or cum, whichever way you want to call it, cum is the cumulative. So this gives you the cumulative bids and asks, right? But this is which one was the largest, bids or asks. And you see how large those are? So this is one order. This is one order. If you look over to the right-hand side of the screen or the left-hand side of the screen, you see 2,300, which is a lot. And all throughout the day, so this is 10:30 in the morning. 10:30 in the morning? No. Okay, so this is because I changed the time frame, the session. This is 4 o'clock in the evening, 5 o'clock in the evening. This is 5 o'clock in the evening. They went up that high. Huh. And then as we come into, why does it start at 10:30? That's not helpful. I need that to start at 9:30. But it should be from 9:30, and now we're moving on. There's no huge orders like this until we get back to the end of the day. Okay, interesting. I've never noticed that before. I mean, I figured that around 4 o'clock, like here, 4 o'clock, you get large orders. But really, at 4 o'clock, you're not even getting really large orders. You're getting a large number of cumulative orders, which you can see here. But you're not getting a large number of orders, a large order size for one order. You're not getting that at 4 o'clock. You're getting that at like 5 o'clock and 5 o'clock. So that's real interesting. So if you're thinking about taking those transactions at 4 o'clock, you could do it along with momentum if you're in the same direction as the rest of the cumulative traders, right? But if you wanna move with the big boys or big girls that have a lot of money, they're waiting till 5 o'clock. The larger orders are happening at 5 o'clock, which makes sense too, because, okay, I guess that makes sense. Because 5 o'clock is the end of the trading session for futures. 4 o'clock is the end of the trading session for institutional traders trading, or just all traders trading, the regular market shares. But it's 5 o'clock for futures. So that makes sense. Okay. But now what do we do with that information? Do we wait till 5 o'clock before re-entering? Or do you say, hey, well, at 4 o'clock, let me go ahead and, exit my position, or 4 o'clock, let me take a, dang it, what's the word? A position that is, in opposition, contrary, what's the word? Somebody knows the word. But do you take one of those positions at 4 o'clock? Yeah, interesting. But that's what we have to do. We have to look at the market and actually analyze and study the market, and not just take trades. All right, but I need to change this session here. Other sessions. 9:30. It says 9:30 to 4:30. It's actually running me to 5 o'clock. What is this? I think this must be. Yeah, something is going on with the time frame here, I'm sure. So if 9:30 is actually pulling me up at 10:30, then I need to make it 8:30. Right? Uh, 8:30. And then over here, seemed like it's running to. I don't remember what time it's running to. But if it's an hour ahead of time and I'm only really looking for the time up until 5 o'clock, then instead of putting 5 o'clock, I should put 4 o'clock, which I already have 4 o'clock. So we'll just 4:30. So let's put 4 o'clock. Do that. And then I think I was able to copy that. Yeah, add Monday through Friday. Why would you do that? Edit. Why do I have 2 Tuesdays? Okay, so we need to get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. Get rid of this one and this one. All right, and then add this back as that. Okay. Now it's got to go back and reload. Okay, so I thought I was actually going to do a little bit of coding today, but it looks like I'm not. And that was okay. But while that one is figuring itself out, let's come back over here to the 1 minute time frame. So just out of curiosity, right? So when you're looking at your chart, when you're doing your technical analysis, let me ask you, do you see this? I saw something very similar to this yesterday. Day before yesterday. All right, so I'm not able to do anything with it. It's going to take a while to load up. There we go. All right, so draw a little trend line there, and boom, boom, boom. Once you hit that second time, now that third time, now we got something. Now we look for that fourth time and the rejection. But what happened there, right? So here we have an initial point. Here we have a second point. So now we can draw a line, because in order to draw a line, you got to have at least 2 points. Now, once you have that third point, now you have a trend, because typically you want to see 3 points or more for a trend. So now that you have that third point, you have a trend. So you could have took this short when you hit it after drawing that second one, right? All right. But now that you have a third one, now you say you got a trend. So now when you hit it that third time, you're like, boom, bam, let's take it short. Not only that, on this trend line, right? Not only is this trend line giving you a signal of a supply area, but also you got this crazy spiking going on right here in this time frame. Why do you have this crazy spiking of these asks going on in this time frame? This is selling pressure. This is people bringing their shares to the market. This is people trying to unload their shares. This is people potentially trying to unload their shares. These are a high number of asks coming in, right? I mean, it's obvious, right? Isn't it obvious? Now, while you're in the middle of trading, you might be like, well, it doesn't look terribly obvious. I don't know. But I mean, when you look back at it, look at this. The blue and the red and the blue and the red and the blue and the, red. Okay, the blue and the red and the blue and the red, the blue and the red, blue and the red and the blue and the red, red, the blue and the red and the blue, red, red, the blue, blue, red, 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 red. So these are folks really coming in and offering their shares to the market, right? But it's also happening on your trend line. That's the confirmation you're looking for? I don't know, maybe. All right, and then when it comes back up a second time, when it comes back up, it makes a lower high, right? It had a high, which was a higher high, and now it has a lower high. But do you know that this is a lower high while it's being formed? You don't until you come back down. And I know, and this is the tricky part about like market structure and that kind of thing, is trying to figure out when you have a change in structure in order to have for swings and that kind of thing, to qualify that there's a change in structure, you gotta go all the way. So in order for you to say, okay, well, this is a lower high, you don't know it when it comes down to here, because it could come up here. You don't know it when it comes down to here, because it could come up to here. You don't know it when it comes down to here, because it could come up to here. But now once it breaks below this area right here, now you're like, okay, now we have a lower low, which makes this a lower high. Yeah, well, guess what? Now you're already way down here. So if you're looking for confirmation of a downtrend, well, now you're already in like a discounted area. And you don't want to sell in the discounted area, do you? You want to be selling in the premium area. You want to sell when you get up here. You want to sell when you see this. But you're not seeing this. You don't see this. I see this. So so I like the idea about, market structure and looking for those bricks and that kind of thing. But that's always been my struggle. Is, well, by the time you get that confirmation to qualify an actual change, it's too late. That move is already gone. That move has already happened. So at that point where you get that new low there and you say, okay, well, now we have a lower high, so now we're in a potential downtrend. Is that when you look for a entry to the short side, but not right here? You look for this retracement here back into this zone. And I guess this could be like a fair value gap zone right in here. So you take the short here and then hope you don't get stopped out here. Or do you take the short here into that fair value gap? I know we're on a 1 minute time frame. I get it. But do you take it there with your stop up here? And now you have this range, which is your risk, and this range, which you're hoping to be your reward. Again, if you trade that way, it looks pretty good to me, because that would have worked. That would have gave you a 1 to 2, 1 to 2.5. So, I mean, that would have worked. Like I said, I ain't figured it out well enough to make heads or tails of it. But I do see this, and this is very obvious. This is very obvious when you're looking at this chart. Like I said, everybody ain't gonna be able to see this unless you are pulling this kind of information. Now I'm curious of what happened on with the bids and the asks as far as the direction that the sales happen, not the sentiment. I call this sentiment. You got the sentiment and you got the sales. The sentiment is what happens with your bid and your ask when they, I guess when it shows up in the level 2, right? But what happens when it actually has a transaction? Those are the sales. That's not the pressure anymore. Now that's the that's the move. So I don't know where my data went down here. So let's go back to the other. All right, so this 15-second time frame. So put up the 1 minute time frame. You know what? I must have not moved it over, but I thought I did. The 1 minute time frame. Let's open it up. Make sure. Okay, so this is my 1 minute time frame data. I'll select all, copy it, select all, paste it, and then we'll save. And you'll hate me for this because I have to refresh it again. You know what? I don't think we got it. I don't think it's saved for some reason. I've got to look into that. This data say, there we go. Your boy is on fire. Man, I love this programming stuff, man. I love it because it just puts you right where you want to be. It puts you right where you want to be because I'm telling you. I know a lot of people traded this and it was like, oh yeah, it was choppy. Well, it was choppy and it looks very choppy. Like I said, if you put those trend lines up there, you're like, oh man, well, it made a new higher high. So is it going to pull back and continue on, or is it going to move down from there? You got this data here. If you saw this, then you might be inclined to think that the sellers have come in and they're going to push it down. I guess what I'm still trying to figure out is what's the confirmation though? Is this the confirmation and this the signal? The signal is that touch, or I guess technically we had this drawn from this point to this point to this point, and then it hit that one, right? So is touching this line the supply? Is that the signal? And then this is the confirmation? Yeah, this is what I wanted to see down here. I wanted to see this number, right? So that's interesting. That's interesting. Especially considering that we have a sell-off here, because we have all this selling pressure to come here, and we have this red dot here and this red dot here. This red dot here for the time and sales. I need to move these closer. This dot here for the time and sales just says that we have a this one just says that we have a huge sale order, a huge order that hit the, I don't even want to say sale. We have a huge order that hit the ask, that hit the higher side of the market, which It's like, which came first? Because when you have a huge order that hits the high side of the market, that typically means you're going up. But because you have this huge amount of people bringing their shares to the market, it's like a fish market or something like that, right? So you can bring your fish to the market to sell it, or you can go to the market wanting to buy fish. This is people bringing their fish to the market, so they're wanting to get rid of it. So this is overwhelming, right? Compared to all this, this is overwhelming. And maybe I need to be comparing this to these other time frames, which are here, which still say red over blue, red over blue, red over blue, which still say that here, here, and also really here, sellers are more often bringing their fish to the market. Even though somebody decided to deliver a lot of shares to the market. Yeah, I've got to go home, and I've got to go home. I've got to think about this. I've got to think about this, how this makes sense. Because I would tend to expect to see this being blue, this being interest, people dropping their fish off at the market, and then people actually making transactions on the lower side of the market, making large transactions on the lower side of the market, not making large transactions on the high side of the market. So this is interesting. But I'm gonna note it down. I hope you took some time to note it down as well, and we'll see what we come up with here on the next episode of Success Over Stress. All right, guys. So this is what I was doing today. So hopefully you got something out of it, because I got out of it what I was looking for. And hopefully you were able to tag along and see something that made sense to you or jogged your memory or something like that. Oh, what I can do is look at the 15-second time frame and see if there was anything that happened there. Because we're on the 1-minute time frame, but I also have data for the 15-second time frame. Okay, so in that same area, I remember seeing that. I do remember seeing a higher bid there earlier, but this high, the high orders, high volume orders to the top side of the market, that's a bit puzzling. So we'll keep looking at. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this and add it to my tablet so I can investigate it further. There'll be a little telltale sign there somewhere. There'll be a telltale sign on here somewhere, and I'm determined to figure it out. like I say, the way that I'm planning to trade now using like this kind of information, I won't be taking many trades. I'll be taking just a few super high probability trades, and that's it. So yeah. All right. Well, guys, this has been me. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.